Hi, everybody. Oh, I think I am live. Maybe a little bright. Whoa. Hello, Claire. I cannot get the settings right. Let me see if this actually... Is that better? I don't know. When somebody can, let me know if I'm too dark, if I'm too light, what is going on with my face, because I can't tell. I've struggled with the properties going through this way of doing live chats. I can't quite see what I'm trying to see. So, okay, let me close off some things here. How is no, not a new haircut, just trying to survive growing it out. But thank you. Hello, Miss Nikki. Mr. Doug, I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. Hello. Okay, Miss Nikki says everything is clear and a little palish color-wise. Yeah, I'm probably not going to mess with it because I feel like I'm going to throw things off. I mean, I'm pretty white. So anything other than pale is simply a trick of the camera lens because I'm one of those glaringly white people with freckles. Dylan has a mild headache. That's not good. I hope that you can take something and feel better. So how is everybody? My brain, look, I know this has been the refrain of live chats and I apologize, but it's just the way it is. My brain has been fried. Like it's absolutely fried today. So excited to chit chat with everybody. But I'm going to warn you, my brain is a little bit like this. Like I literally feel like this in a good way. I just had a really long tarot class because we were going through all the courts and all of the minors. So it was like 3 hours of blah, 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 blah. And I didn't sleep much last night because I'm at the end of painting my oracle deck. And I had this like epiphany moment in the middle of the night last night. And so I was exporting files, like, because I had drawn some things on Procreate. And then I got right up and I was like trying to make it happen. And then I had class and then I was making it happen between. And so my brain is like going, it's like all over the place. So I'm wired. I am wired and my brain's a little bit something. So please have patience and grace as we should all give to one another. But I am giving you heads up warning. I have some really unhealthy sun drop for the caffeine, and I have some really healthy Brita water. I have been really increasing my water. I know you're all excited about that. But I have been really increasing my water intake. So we're loaded with water. Good stuff and bad stuff. Always have to have a balance. I know we're supposed to have a topic, but I don't have a topic this moment. I'm hoping that one just miraculously comes to me. I did want to show you something I did last night. Where did I get my 2020 astrology calendar? Like the board one. I think, Jamie, did I do a Wheel of the Year reading for you? Are you talking about the board one? I thought I messaged you back on that. If it's the board one, it is thelivingwheel.com. That is There you go. I think you have to go to papers. Now, the one that I think you saw, Jamie, I ordered, it's the board one. So there's a paper one, which I used all last year. You're talking about like this. So I use, this is a test version of it, but I had another one I used all year. This was last year's, which was like on a really nice paper, and it held up very well. But I used this year's new one. You can order on a thick board, and I ordered one on the board, and that I absolutely love. So it depends on if you're going to be using it a lot. If you're just going to stick it in a frame, but I actually take it down, I put crystals on it. So I do things with it, and I really like the board. But the paper did hold up really well all last year. So anyways, hopefully that answers your question. Dylan says, what do you think of double-sided decks? I'm not a huge fan. Hello, Miss Molly. I have a couple, like the Secret Forest one I really like. I think that might be here because this is in my, maybe we'll go through my decks that I have sitting here that I would like to work more with next year. That might be interesting because I've been meaning to do that video. The Secret Forest one has like the original sketchings, and then on the other side, the full color painting. And I actually do enjoy that a lot. I feel like it gives some nuance just in terms of using it. But I will say that I don't use them for readings. So I don't have a double-sided deck that I use for readings or anything like that. So I find them interesting, but I don't necessarily use them, if that makes sense. Simon is edging a deck. I just did that last night. That's what I was going to show you. Enjoy the edging. Did you get the Orions? No. Let me see what that is, Matthew. Search Google. Orion's deck. Orion's? Would that be Orion? Ooh, that's gorgeous. Ooh, that Judgment. Ooh, that Moon. Nope, I did not. I will. Oh, that Three of Cups with the bears. Matthew, you know me so well. That's really beautiful. I'll have to see what the Ten of Swords is. All that jazz that I'd have to do. But boy, that is, the saturation is so me. Here, I'll put a link to what he was talking about here, because this coloration is like got my name written all over it. Yeah, Matthew, you're right to assume so. I hadn't seen that one. I actually don't go out looking for decks. I know people are so shocked, but if I did that, I have a budget. I do keep a budget for things like decks or rune books or these types of things. And if I went out to like look on Kickstarter and just put tarot decks, I would kill my budget. So it's just like something that will float by my attention somehow, and that one missed it, but I might have to fix that. Anyways, while I appreciate everybody having grace. I don't know that we're actually going to have one main topic because, as I said earlier, if you missed it, I'm just really crazy brain right now, and it's not in a bad way. It's in a kind of just high energy way. And so I'm going to have a hard time staying focused or zeroed in. So patience and grace. So this deck was on my favorites for 2019 list. It's called the Sacred Destiny Oracle. Miss Nikki put a link to it. I have loved this deck I don't know. I'm really bad with time. So I will just throw out random timing and it can be completely wrong. I would say like the last 3 or 4 months of 2019. And then all of my year ahead spreads where I do a quarterly energy. I used this year. So I've done a ton of readings with this deck and I've really enjoyed it. I mean, really enjoyed it. And it's because if you don't read the guidebook, you kind of miss it. It's a deck that has normal keywords like you would kind of think of with a Oracle deck. And I like the border because you're kind of stepping into a frame. I haven't wanted to trim it, but if you look at the guidebook, each one of these cards is a landscape. Now, sometimes it's like the landscape of the ripened peach. Okay, it's a little stretching the word of landscape. But like there's like the sacred or the holy well. There is the landscape. I love this one. There's sort of like misty lake on the mountain landscape. So you're entering into an energetic landscape with this deck. And I find that to be so useful in so many ways. Like, okay, you've just done a tarot reading. What landscape are you exiting and what are you moving into? Or like I said, the 4 quarters of the year, what is the energetic landscape for this 3 months? Or as a weekly poll, what's the energetic landscape of this particular poll? I just really love this deck. So I wanted to trim it though, because if you look at it, the colors are really so rich and gorgeous. It gets a little bit muted by the white borders. So I picked up, because I had a coupon, you know me and my coupons, I picked up another one and chopped it all the way. And it chops nice. So I took all the borders off, which still makes the back look really pretty. I put my normal antique goldy color on the side, and look at how it's so saturated. When you take off those borders, they can really get gorgeous. Like I love this swamplands. But yeah, so I'm really excited to have that, especially to work with like my other decks that I use a lot. Like, when it's this color palette and a nice size, like I use this deck a lot. And so that's going to go really nicely with that deck, or even the Illuminated Earth, which I use a lot. Like, look at that color palette. Anyways, so I sat and did that yesterday. Look at this one. Because then, like, you pick your own landscape. Like, what is that landscape for you? Right? What landscape are you entering into? Now, the keywords do not have landscapes on them. And that's what I'm going to redo. I saw my goal tomorrow. Again, I have 2 cards to paint for my Oracle deck. That's it. And so I'm really heavily focused there. So once that's done, it's hard for me to, I'm very single track minded when it comes to creative things. And so it's like, I just need to finish it, right? Before I can focus. Because I did a walkthrough of this. I deleted the footage. I need to redo it because I love this deck. The keyword on the bottom is just like a random keyword. So this is the landscape of the deep ocean, but the keyword is wisdom. I kind of wish they would have put like the landscape and then the keyword or the landscape and the keyword. I kind of wish they would have put the landscape on here. However, it's also, it leaves it open to be your own, your own thing. But this way, that to me just, some decks, when you trim them up, you're just like, whoa, I knew that color payout was there. But it just, really amps up when you trim off the white borders. So I'm glad to have both, because there are times I do like to have the keywords and use it as an Oracle deck. Now, I don't do this with everything that I trim. Most of the time when I trim a deck, it's because I don't particularly like something the way it is. This one, I actually do like it the way it is, because I feel like you're being called to step into the frame. but then there are times in which I don't want to have that. So this is one of the few times in which I trim and have a backup because I like them both ways, which is a little bit much, but that's actually was an expensive deck, especially with my Barnes and Noble. Because I have the card where you get 10% off and then you get coupons. Hello, Miss Anna. Miss Anna has been moving, which she probably put in there because I saw something about moving. And I'm sure I've missed something. And I apologize. As I said, my brain is just, again, not in a bad way, just in a good way, just high energetic brain, crazy brain. Okay, let me grab, before I forget though, I do want to do our card of the week. So let's just roll right into our card of the week. It does, Nikki. I'm not sure if I like it, but I mean, I'm using it, so it's not horrible. I don't have the greatest water. It's city water, but we tend to have, I don't know if it's because it can't be because it's the building, it's the water. Anyways, we have times of the year in which it tends to get very chlorinated. You can smell and taste the chlorine. And I don't even like to use it in my tea. And so I ended up, buying big jugs of water, buying lots of water bottles. And my friend Bart he's like, have you tried a Brita before? And I'm like, no, that would be way too simple. So I got a small Brita, container to keep in mind. I have a smaller fridge. It's a small apartment, so everything's kind of smaller. And I use that for my tea, which I love, but it's like the perfect amount, dump in the tea, and I keep it going all the time. And so I ended up investing in, when I was deciding to drink more water besides just tea, I got one of these Brita, so you can just pour the water in, but you have to suck it out like in a straw, and it pulls it through the filter. I kind of wish that it was just like you pour it, it goes through the filter like it does with the water jug, and then you can just drink it. Because you have to suck pretty hard. I know somebody's thinking something about that's what she said or something, but I do wish that it came a little bit differently. But it's cleaning the water, and it does work. Like this water sucked through the straw does smell or does taste the same as the one that I used through the Brita thing. Anyways, this is not a sponsored video. Brita does not pay me. It's just what I've tried, and because I wanted to reduce having to buy so much water bottles, because I was buying the big 2-gallon things to fill my teapot, and then water bottles, and that's lots of plastic. And anyways, I know, Simon, this is such a bad. I know, because I knew it was coming, Molly. I shouldn't do that. I should just pretend there's no dirty joke there. Yes, usually, Matthew, I have already confessed and apologized, but the last few months of the year have been really hit or miss with live chats on Saturday. And again, I may be shifting them to Sunday just because it's just sometimes if my classes run over, because I do my classes on Saturday morning. And so if they run over, or it's 3 to 3.5 hours of talking, sometimes it's a little bit hard to then take a break, cram a sandwich, and then start talking for a couple hours. So I have to figure that out. My goal this year is better consistency. And it's just, what are you going to do? Life gets in the way sometimes. So generally they're on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If that's going to change more permanently, I will definitely make note of it. I have to get my fish out of the oven. Okay, Miss Nikki's getting her fish out of the oven. What kind of fish? I love fish. Oh, she's already back by the time I read that. Okay, so let's pull our weekly thing, though, because I don't want to forget to do that. I actually really enjoy having this weekly card, And so when we miss chat, I should just do it and put it on Instagram or something, but I actually miss it. Hello, Lady D. I haven't seen you in a while either. Miss Hanaconda. Look at all these people. People are taking a chill today and coming up to have a chit chat. I love it when everybody shows up when I'm like, my brain isn't working correctly. There's a thing out in the universe that says, ooh, I heard Kelly's brain is kind of crazy today. I'm going to go to live chat. So we can get, that's what she said, jokes and see me stumble on my words. Hello, Karen. There's Karen too. Sorry, I know it's one of the things people, and there's Mr. Elron. Anyways, let's pull a card. I know. I thought maybe that's what it is, Simon. Everybody's like, let's just come together with crazy brain here. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you how excited I am. And this is truthfully, I know some people will not believe it. This is not even about promoting it because I still have to get a test copy. But that feeling, I mean, when you're working on a long-term project and when you're down to just like 2 cards to paint out of 45, like I just want to, it's just the most amazing feeling to have like that finish line right there. And, it's just like you just want to like put everything else on hold and just get it done and power through it. That's kind of that space that I'm in. So it's hard to come down off of that high. Miss Crohn's Bones, hello. I got your Nafrasado Lenormand. I always say that incorrectly. Every time I say it differently. Miss Anna knows what I'm talking about. And I have never even done 78 cards. This is the most I've done because I did a Lenormand deck, which is, of course, 36 cards plus the back. So 37 paintings. This one is 35 or 45. Plus the back, so that's 46. That's the most that I've done. I can't even imagine the 78 card one. My brain just jumped. Simon, are you? Yes, I see Simon. Has anybody else gotten the bigger Mildred Payne? And is anybody else a little bit like, what happened to the detail, or was that on purpose? Is anybody else have the larger Mildred Payne that we can have a quick little discussion about what's up there? I do feel a little bit traumatized, Lena Solaire. It's like in a good way, but a little bit traumatized. Well, Simon, is yours not as, okay, let me get this. Can we pause for a minute? Okay, somebody else has seen it. Okay, it's not just Crohn's bone. I'm like, I haven't had time, to be honest, to really look. And I'm going to do a video, but I love this. Number one, I love seeing her all grown up. That's awesome. Yes, thank you, Miss Nikki. We usually have a topic where we're being bad today, but that's okay. We're allowed to. So this is the original deck, and I'm going to do a video. So this is just me literally wanting to talk to people and say, what? So this is the original deck. I have 3 videos up on this, I believe. I have the original. I have one about the balance of it. I have like an expansion one. I love this deck. I love this deck. But look at the boldness here. Okay, so what I have said, and I think Simon as well, but Simon and I are claiming this as we've said that we wanted a version this size, and so we're getting it. I'm dragging Simon into it now because I'm just assuming that it's the universe giving me what I wanted. I've always just said I wished that I love the small one and I would never get rid of the small one, but I wish there was a playing card size one. So he put out a playing card size one because Simon and I wanted it. We're sticking with that. We're sticking with that. And it's the same backs, which I love. It's not the original backs. But look at the difference. I just don't understand what happened. This is my theory because I would like to know if it's on purpose or not. But here's my theory. Okay, let's find the house. They're in order. I love the new cards. Can we talk about that for a minute? And I know for people who don't have this is really annoying, but this is just me wanting to like have this conversation really quick. I won't stay here very long, I promise. So here's the original, and here's the new one. And I don't know if that's going to really pick up in this video because it actually on my screen looks better than it looks in real life. The contrast has really dropped down and it feels like the same cardstock. So I feel like it's the same printer, but the contrast has gone down. I was disappointed. I have to say, when I opened this up, I was like, wait a minute, why does this look washed out? I did have a moment of disappointment, which I've never had with Mildred Payne. I love everything about Mildred Payne Oracle. This is my theory. A, it could be that it just got messed up at the printer. B, this is me. Okay, here we go. This is my theory. Here's Mildred Payne now. She's all grown up, and she has been using this deck for 30 years, and we are now seeing the older version of her deck. So this is just the used older version of her deck, but just in terms of working with it and like having it on the table, it's just less, it doesn't have the contrast. It does not pop. I know. I wonder, that always scares me so much because you can use this printer forever and it's perfect. And all of a sudden it's different. And you really, I don't think you're seeing it as well on the screen, but it's very significant. My version is quite obvious. So I'm going to kind of roll with it that this is a, on purpose. I know but that shouldn't really matter, Courtney, because what I'm saying, well, I guess I went and shrunk mine because like my Lenormand, shrinking it, if it's a high quality image, going up to this isn't, going up shouldn't make that much of a difference. This is not going to like a huge size. So in my experience with printers, that shouldn't make such a big difference. Wait. Crone says, I emailed the asylum and Luna said it's a different printer. But so this is because this is a story. The Mildred Payne is a story. And I'm just going with the fact that we have Mildred's deck that's been used forever. Let's look at the last 4 cards and then I'll leave this because I know, not everybody has this deck nor wants this deck. And so this can be quite a boring one. So we had this is an older one, but I love the Wish. I love the Dragon. The new ones are 85 is the Sage Cleansing. 86 is the Acorn, which I quite love. 87 is the Volcano. Again, really love that energy. And 88 is the Scarab. Now, the interesting thing is, and the other thing that I was disappointed in, I'm not going to lie. Look, folks, I got to tell you the truth here. There, like all of the kind of stuff that you get, like you kind of, when you open up Mildred Payne stuff, it's really is an experience. And there's always like just kind of cool little quirky things. And other than this, there really wasn't a cool quirky thing. And there wasn't even an updated keyword list, like where you get the new, not that that really matters because they're basic, keywords. But it was kind of like, I would have liked some kind of quirky, cool thing to go along with it. But, we're spoiled by Patrick Valenza and his Mildred Payne Oracle. So, okay, well, at least I know it's not me. I know the marketing's over at this point, I guess. I know. I'm just going to spin with it because I love this deck so much that I'm going to, I was disappointed. I'm not going to lie. My first instinct reaction was, oh, why? Can we have that clarity back? But I'm spinning it as with that older image of her. Now we have an actual reproduction of Mildred's actual deck, which is of course lighter over time. She's used it for like 20 years. Okay, sorry. I know that was like complete rabbit trail, but I just thought, oh, Patrick, I knew Simon had the deck. And so I just was like, oh, wait. I got to find out if it was just me or that must have just been you, Simon. Cause I think that's just you. Cause I didn't get anything cool or quirky. And it was kind of like, oh, I would have liked to one quirky little thing or, again, like even one of the sheets, like with the new updated sheets with the keywords or something. Exactly, Anaconda. It probably went through the industrial wash of the asylum. I would definitely think so. Oh, see, when you just love something, you're willing to say, okay, how can I make my brain love this, even though it's, technically a con? How can I turn this into a positive? Dylan, did you see James Eade showing? Oh, he's got a new. Oh, I have not seen it, and I follow him on Instagram. I've been a bit tunnel vision trying to get things done. It's not popping up if you just search it, so I'll have to look on his Instagram. I clearly am not up to date. Somebody said something about the saturation has to be increased. Makes sense. I mean, I guess I've only shrunk it. Like my Lenormand, I went from a poker size down to a mini. So I was shrinking. So obviously the saturation doesn't need to be affected. But my thinking is though, like I scan my paintings in at a certain like level of DPI. And so in terms of printing it, if the file is a good file size, it should go up higher. But what do I know? Oh, we just did it last night. Okay, then I definitely haven't seen it, Dylan. Hi, Sherry Bug. Okay, I'm going to pull a card. Random chat. Flashback to completely random chat. But thank you, Mr. Simon and Miss Chromebones and whoever else chimed in there that it wasn't just mine. Because I did really wonder, like, oh, was this just a bad batch? And I'm a huge, like, literally, I am maybe number 2 because I guess Simon is number 1, but I'm the number 2 Mildred Payne fan. Simon is a number 1 all things Patrick Valenza fan. I am a number 1 Mildred Payne fan. Okay, let's pull a card for the week because otherwise I'm going to forget about it. And I do really enjoy having these. I know I'm going there, Molly. Molly and Anaconda and I are running with, these cards have had history. They have been around the block. They have been sewn into pockets. They have been buried in graveyard dust. They've been used. They probably sat in the windowsill. That's what will fade things. I can just see you sitting at a windowsill of the asylum, like setting your cards out, which is so bad for your coloration of your cards. Like we're just rolling with the story behind it. It's just like when you go on vacation or something, and something just it's just bad things are happening, right? Just like, okay, this is terrible, but truthfully, you can turn it into a story. All things, if it's story material, that's golden, right? It doesn't have to be wonderful experience. Some of the best memories are turning lemon into lemonade. So we're building a story up here. And I roll into that pretty heavily. Like if I roll into that story, even if that got fixed and was re-released or something, then I would be like, no, my cards have been used by Mildred for 20 years and gone through industrial washing and sat in the window pane of the asylum. Like I don't need any fresh, clean cards. That is that's about how I roll with these things. Okay, let's all these cards. Miss Nikki, are you boring things into my head? Let's see, pull those cards. Oh, we're pulling one card. Okay. Ooh, here we have the Emperor. I need the Emperor. Now, the Emperor card for me was my card last year. It was my card of the year. So I spent a lot of time with the Emperor. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. I can't even read this. Epictetus. This is obviously maybe a Greek philosopher. I'm just guessing here. Epictetus. I'm not sure how to say that, to be honest. I will claim it when I can't say names. But I love this. It's like, okay, say what it is, who you want to be. What would you be? What do you want to do? What is it you want to accomplish? Who do you want to become? So like sort of own it, right? And then do it. Do what you got to do to get there, right? It's that the Emperor is not giving you a whole lot of wiggle worm. Oh my gosh, this is why I should not be doing live chats when I'm geared up. Wiggle room for excuses, right? The Emperor is just like, look, figure out what you want to do, figure out what you want to become, and then do what you have to do. Do what you have to do and get it done. So I quite like that. I know Dylan's laughing at me. I can't help it. It's just what it is. And no, I have not had anything to drink. I have been teaching and painting. And my paint is not oil paint that has toxins in it. So I love that. So that's our card of the week. Figure out what we got to do this week and get it done. Don't make excuses. There's probably plenty of excuses out there, but don't make them this week. Like just figure out what you have to do and do it. Figure out what you're trying to accomplish and just start plugging away at it. Just get it done. Say it. I like that. What I like about the quote is that say it, because you're kind of owning it and you're claiming it and you're saying, this is what I need to achieve. This is what I need to accomplish this week. So you're saying it, owning it, putting that stamp on it, but don't just do that. Do it now. Just now get it done. Don't make excuses. Don't get sidetracked. This is all me. Don't get sidetracked. Don't squirrel it all over the place. Just do it. Get it done. There we go. That is our card for yes, thank you, Miss Nikki. That deck is I feel like we all should have this by now, as much as we use it. The Art of Life Tarot by Charlene Livingston. And it has a space where you can put the card and do that. So I just set it on my desk. I really do enjoy our cards of the week because I see it every time I'm sitting here at my desk. I'm just going to be like, get it done. No, yeah, I would agree with Frankly. Frank. I thought his name was Frank, and I just said Frankly. It's actually Frankly Tarot. Yeah, let's not chop off people's heads just because we want a new wife. let's be a little more circumspect, but get it done. He did he did figure out what he wanted and got it done. Um, Matthew says I need an emperor. I'm working on a 350 page guidebook. I just, yeah, break it into pieces, my friend. Break it into pieces. I saw somebody fell asleep. I'm like, oh, I put somebody to sleep, but I think it was somebody else that put her to sleep. Yeah, break it into piece and own it. Say, okay, I'm going to do this chapter, or I'm going to do this, and then get it done. Yes, I agree with Miss Nikki here in terms of timers. What I try to do when I literally do have a lot to accomplish and it's kind of getting overwhelming is I put, okay, I have something I need to accomplish. So say I need to do a bunch of readings in one day, but I also need to clean my apartment and do my laundry. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do a reading, and then I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes and clean for 10 minutes, because timed cleaning is the bomb. Like, you pick an area and you say, well, for me, because I have a fairly small apartment, it's like, okay, I'm going to focus on this crazy area, which encompasses my desk, my reading table, and my art table, right? That gets insane. Say, okay, I'm going to put 10 minutes there. Then I'll go do another reading. And then I'll say, okay, 10-minute timer. And I'll go do the dishes and, clean the little, it's like a dinette, I guess. And then the kitchen, which is very small, clean that 10 minutes, do something else, set the timer. And so rotating your way through things can sometimes be a great way to do that. Anyways. My shelves should be pretty clean because they're not perfect, but they should be. My historical decks is a mess because of teaching a beginning tarot class. I pulled a lot of those down. So it's pretty good. But I just redid them at the first of the year. So, yeah, I definitely am sure that it looks so. Though I'm kind of wondering now, Simon, if I might, I know we're just jumping back to Mildred Payne. I have a marker that's not a Sharpie marker. So it's like just a little bit less black. I might do something like that so it looks a little bit more worn and a little bit more muted, like it's been used a bit to go with my and Hanaconda and Molly's storyline. Oh, Dylan, you are like killing it with the great suggestions here. I love Hansel and Gretel type movies. Is this going to be like really creepy though? I have not seen it yet. I clicked the link so that I will go back and look at it because I love that kind of stuff. Does it look like a jump type thing? Yeah. Hannah kind of says it looks like one of those, it's going to make you jump. Sherrybug says, what decks are on your radar to get in 2020? The only deck that I have on my radar, I say that, but I'll have to, well, clearly I now have to go look at this. And I don't even know if you can get this. I think the Kickstarter's over. I'm not sure. No, it looks like it's still in backing. So I'll have to look at how much is done. Like, I'm pretty picky with backing decks. I have made exceptions to the rule, but I don't tend to. Oh, there's an unboxing, so they might all be done. I really do have to see all of the cards for the most part to back a Kickstarter. So, but I have to look at that one. But anyways, my only one that I'm really waiting for is the Dark Forest Tarot. I every time I say it wrong and people, Dark Forest or Dark Wood. Dark wood tarot. Maybe that's what it is. It's dark wood, and I keep saying dark forest. It's like an adult fairy tale looking thing. I don't know. It feels like, and I love the Haunted Mansion, but it feels like almost like an adult Haunted Mansion. Yeah, Nikki's saying it's a dark wood. I know I say it wrong every time. I think that's the only one. That one's, I think, not coming out till June. I mean, that's the estimated, so it could be, further later than that. But that's the only one that's like on my radar. Like, okay, I really want to get that. I have the Spacious Tarot. I filmed a walkthrough of it. I just haven't edited it. The story of my life. I wish creators would show the cards more often on Kickstarter. Yeah, no, I am the same way, Molly. I don't even watch them anymore, which is too bad. I mean, I really don't back. I know people don't believe this. I don't know what happened. I felt like when we started, my hair was like decent, but now I look like I have a nest on my head. Anyways. I think this I've seen a lot of like Facebook threads of like all the things people hate that people do in videos on YouTube, and I think I'm covering like all of them today. I am not a fan though. I understand that honestly are afraid of getting ripped off, but the fact of the matter is, if when they just have the video trailer that has zero, it doesn't even have the cards on them at all. Like not even a single card. It's just like this artsy trailer. Not a fan. Not a fan. It doesn't tell me anything. It can have a really cool vibe to that, and it doesn't do anything for me whatsoever in terms of what the card's going to look like. So they at least need to have some of the cards on there for you to get a feel for what the deck is, because that's a big turnoff to me. It's kind of similar, I'll be honest, it's kind of similar to like if I pick up a tarot book and the prologue says anything like the Rider-Waite-Smith, the mother of tarot. I've seen that in a few things, or something along that lines, the deck that started it all, or the deck that I'll put the book down and I won't read it at all. And and it's kind of similar to me when I click on those and I see it's just all artsy, which is beautiful, but it does not give me anything about the cards. I tend to not look any further, which isn't good. I can't put my hair in a bun. Sherry, can you put your hair in a bun? Oh, you are. I'm like, I wish I could. That's what I'm trying to get to. Yeah, me too, Dylan. And truthfully, I need to hold it. It's why I don't really back that many Kickstarter decks. I love Kickstarters or pre-order. Really what I love is pre-orders. The deck is already painted or digitally drawn or whatever it's been done. The deck is done. The artist has a copy of the deck so that they know, they've pretty much got their color correction stuff done, and it's just pre-ordering it. I can see all the cards. I don't have to wait I don't have patience. It's just me. Some people have wonderful patience. I don't have patience. And you're just doing a pre-order so that the artist can have the money to make the print run. That's like my ideal of a Kickstarter. Now, that isn't to say that there aren't exceptions to that rule where I'm just like, I know this particular, like the Majestic Earth. I loved the Tarot of Delphi so much. I knew I was going to love the Majestic Earth. I backed it immediately. So it really, there are exceptions, but for the most part, I want to see the artwork, and I want it to be pretty much ready, close to being ready for production. But those are my issues. Yeah, so that is different. And I can definitely understand that. Anna was saying that sometimes it's not the creator making the deck. And then if a creator has to hire an illustrator, then it's a little bit, then you almost have to do the early Kickstarter because that's what funds like paying for the illustrator. But for me, it's just, I'm generally not going to go for that. I'll hope that they're going to order more and sell it after I can see the cards. That's just me. Some people love it. I know I have friends who just love that sort of thrill of backing it, seeing it all come into life, and then, waiting for it to come. And it comes and it's a wonderful surprise. It's just me. Like, everybody's different. And I know that doesn't function very well for me. Anyways, Kickstarter. But I love the concept of Kickstarter because, you get these decks that you probably would not get otherwise. So it's fantastic. I have quite a lot of them. Somebody asked me something about the Wonder Walking deck. I don't know who asked me that or what question they had. I'm so sorry. If you want to re-ask it, I am happy to look at it. Right, blessings to you, Courtney. Yeah, I don't know. I love the deck, so that is about the best I can say, unless there's a specific question. Molly says Wonder Walking has been a great deck for me for visitor. Yeah, I keep it over. Again, I don't know. I don't know what the question was. Oh, Elron apparently asked if I'm using it. Yes. But I use it very specifically. I have it over on and it's interesting that Elron asked because his deck is the same way. This sometimes happens with decks. So I'm just pointing to because I can see them. My electric piano is right here in front of the window. And I have Elron's Spirit Doodle cards right there. The box is there. I have a little wood card stand, and I can't even tell you what the card is because I can't see it from here. And I have a card stand, so I will sit down to play the piano, to practice, and I will, shuffle up a Spirit Doodle and pull a Spirit Doodle it's just kind of really connected to music for me because he associates a lot of things with the music. Elron plays the piano. Elron helped me pick out the best cheap piano I could get for myself. So I associate Elron with my piano practice as well as with his deck. So I pull the card there. And it's similar with the Wonder Walking not that I don't know the artist for that. I mean, I think she's amazing, but I don't know her. On my paint table, I have a little shelf with markers and pencils, and my Wonder Walking deck is on the top of that. And so often when I'm sitting down to do a creative endeavor like painting and drawing and things like that, I will pull Wonder Walking. It's not that I use that card as a color inspiration for painting, but whatever the theme is or the message is just kind of sets me into that space for creative things. And so that is how I use the Wonder Walking deck. It stays on my art table, and I love it. That's a stunning, stunning deck. Yeah, see, Miss Molly, she's saying she enjoys deck backing and pre-ordering. I don't mind pre-ordering at all. In fact, I have no issue with pre-ordering because that's what I do with my decks is I have to have the sample in hand, and then I just do a pre-order for how many do I need to order here because I can't just order 1,000, which would be wonderful, but I can't. And so what do I need to order? And so then it's just a pre-order. Those I don't mind and I enjoy doing. I just don't have a lot of patience. It really isn't a positive. I know that about myself, but no readings per se with the Wonder Walking. No. I mean, one card readings. I've not used it. I can't say on the top of my head. I don't think I've done anything. Maybe when I first opened it, I did a 3-card reading, but I've almost exclusively done single card readings with it. Matthew, I don't like Kickstarters that have little information. They make this huge rushing and then deck information is one. Yeah. No, I think we're all in agreement. We would like to have as much information as we can. To see the deck for sure. And it's a hard thing. The whole business is a hard thing, and everybody, and that's the part I do like, Sherry. It is nice to be able to help. And again, there's exceptions to every rule, because I do enjoy watching a deck come into being as well. Like Anna's Oracle of Echoes, Torin here. Her Oracle of Echoes was so amazing because she's really fast. So that helps, right? Because again, I have a patience problem, but being able to see those come out and see them come up on the creator's Instagram and stuff is really exciting to be a part of the process. And so that's a lot of fun. And I enjoyed that. I think I backed Chris Ann's Lightseers Tarot pretty early on. And so I was able to see a lot of the cards like being posted on her Instagram. And that is fun. There is something about that kind of community feeling of seeing a deck come into life that is quite enjoyable. So I know I miss out on that by wanting to see all the cards. But it's just one of those things with tarot. There are cards that I need to see in tarot before I really want to spend $50 or $60, which is generally what you're going to spend for an independent deck. Well worth it for what you get an independent deck, but I want to then be able to make sure it's a deck I'm going to work with. What's the longest you've ever waited for a pre-order back deck? I think it's probably again, I don't back a lot of Kickstarters. Last year, I probably backed the most Kickstarters. Probably Majestic Earth. I think that was about a year. So if I had to guess, that's probably the longest one I've ever waited for. But again, I really tend, and even on Kickstarters and stuff, I look for decks that are very close to being finished, or they are finished and they're just using Kickstarter as a pre-order. So that's just me. I know myself, and so I know to make sure. And I really didn't have any stress over Majestic Earth. I knew that was going to take a year, and that one was pretty easy. But again, I love Tarot of Delphi, so I knew that her work was impeccable, and so I wasn't stressed about it. Tarot. Search Google for Primordial Tarot. I wish there was more cards there. They look really powerful. Charmcasters don't look. Oh, Nikki, I'm not going to click it. Al has not. Oh, Al. I don't know what number it is. Here, I have it actually right here. This is not my copy. This is an extra copy that I need to give to my daughter. Oh, it's right on the top. Can we just pause for a minute? So this is, they're not numbered. Imperfect Beauty. This is my son that I had a black and white photograph that I had taken because he had his spine was dropping near the end because your lungs actually hold your spine up. Anyway, so I won't go to the whole story, but I had a black and white photograph, this exact posture, and then Anna painted it. And I wanted it to be in perfect beauty because that's how I see him. So that is obviously a favorite ever card in an Oracle deck that I own. And all of my family have it on our walls, and my families don't do anything with Oracle or Tarot deck, but they have a print of that on their walls. So obviously this is a favorite deck of mine. This is a hard-hitting deck. What I love about Oracle of Echoes is it feels less like an Oracle deck and more like a tarot deck. Or like similar to Madame Endor's fortune-telling cards, because it's like, actually you can see it right there. I don't know if you can see. That's the original painting because Miss Anna sent me the original painting. It's like Madame Endora's, where it's like you can just use them for regular readings because there's light and shadow in it. And so a lot of Oracle decks I don't use in, like, say, a 9 card or something like that. But it functions really well that way because it just is kind of hard hitting in that way, that kind of gets down as a business versus just, okay, here's 3 cards like that are supportive energy. So it's a little bit different. Okay, we need to see what Nikki is up to. Nikki is up to something. I have seen this Oracle, but you don't get very many. It's really gorgeous. And somebody said something about, doing something like this, but they're so expensive. And I feel like you only get, what is it, like 10 charms, something like that. And again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't cost that way. So there's more now. When I first looked, but still, the first generation, that's how many cards is, like, how many Oracle pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 34. There's 15 for $260. Like, I definitely cannot do that. But I do think that the concept is really amazing. So, and then she does have a build your own, like, pick 9 for 160 Canadian. This is Canadian, not US. I think that's what that it would be. So it's really cool, but it's just really pricey for what it is, and just not enough. It's just, for me, 16 something isn't. It's not enough cards, I guess, to say. To do a lot of readings with, for me, but it's pretty cool. I mean, I really do. Oh, maybe it's not 16. I was just counting quickly, so please don't go off of my quick math. The very top one says the complete series. Oh no, it's 15. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. 15, because the last one's not there. So there's 15 of them, not 16. But then there's extra ones, like it looks like you can get this crow one over here that's not in that set. So, I mean, I don't know how many total, if you buy all of them, there are. Again, it's really cool. And I am sure that that is really expensive to do. So it's probably why it's that expensive, but probably not something I would spend the money on, just because that's a small amount of things to cast from. Now, grabbing a couple of those to add to a charm casting set, that's something I might do. Like, if there's 1 or 2 of those that I absolutely love, like that crow one, and adding it into my charm casting set, that would be pretty cool. Okay. I don't think the Murder of Crows is out yet. I think it's still pre-ordered, but I need to see the cards first. It is. I agree, Molly. Very cool. And yes, Anna's working on a companion for the Oracle of Echo, a companion tarot for the Oracle of Echoes, which is very exciting. Although she knows the only thing that I'm wanting out is the Abyss Tarot at the moment. Okay, I'm sure I've missed things, and if I have, I apologize. And you feel free to always restate them when I do miss them. Because it's just because I'm talking or looking at something and I don't see it. Unless you're being rude, I'm sure it's not because I'm ignoring you. Woof, woof, Kelly's hair. Let's Let's do an easy oracle pull because, well, let's look at the ones. Should we look at see, these are tarot decks that I need to work with. This is something I need to work with. I need to work with. That's tarot. So I have some oracle decks out that I just want to, let's do this one. They're not in my favorites yet. And they're not in my, I don't even want to keep these out yet. It's like, I just want to get a better feel for them. I have this whole cubicle, which you can't see. Oh, you can. This cubicle are decks that I want to work with this year and kind of put them on one list or another. Either they're going to go into my kind of collection box under my bed, or the couple of them I think might move, to favorites, but I just haven't used them long enough. I do want to get more use out of this Divine Animals Oracle, and I also do want to get a walkthrough done of this. Once I'm done painting, I need to just make a walkthrough list and try to catch up. What we walked through this, I believe, on live chat one time, and what I love about this is there seemed to be a pretty nice balance, I think, I can't remember now. I feel like there was a masculine, feminine balance here. And I liked the concept of the stories of their relationships with the goddesses and gods. So it's kind of combining that sort of divine archetype with the animal archetype. So Edmund Adulation, I don't know what that is. I followed the Black Sabbath tarot deck and pre-orders are up to 150. Wow. Yeah. I did hear there was a Jane Austen deck coming out. Golden Girls, Molly. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, 150 is a lot. Generally, for indie decks, I'm like good with like 50, 60 bucks. Even 70-ish, depending on, the quality and what it's doing and stuff like that. You know what I often find, though, is my problem is when you start to get over like the $60 price point, it generally ends up being that the cardstock I'm not actually going to like, because then they start getting that such a thick cardstock that it's not even actually fun for me to shuffle. So I'm always a little bit leery of things unless it's a Baba Studios deck. That's probably the most I've paid for a single deck have been my the new Victorian Romantic and the Fairy Tale, Baba Studio Fairy Tale. And those are beautiful to shuffle with. But a lot of times, if you're looking at indie decks that are getting over that point, they're getting to like that really high GSM that I don't actually enjoy shuffling. So Molly's stoked about the Golden Girls deck. I just can't even imagine. I haven't used it, Nikki. It's in my pile to use. I have not used it because I'll be honest. Whoa! Oh, and I just dropped it on the ground. I'm just obsessed with the Lost Tarot, with the Lost Forest Tarot. So okay, now I got things all whopper-jawed. Let me pause and straighten things. So no, I haven't used it, so I can't really comment on it other than I do have a walkthrough of it. I just have to edit. I have, what are the two? I think I have two. Okay, let's see what videos I have done, but I haven't edited them. I have the 5-cent tarot. Oh, 5-cent tarot and the Spacious Tarot are the two that I have done walkthroughs of, but I haven't edited them yet. And then I have a rune video just playing with my new rune set because I'm massively in love with it. Those are the two that I need to, those are the three that I have to edit. But I'm so obsessed with the Lost Forest Tarot that that's all I've been using. So, but it is beautiful. The production value, Nikki, of the 5-cent tarot is absolutely stunning. There's really only 2 cards in it that I'm just like, but 2 cards out of 78 is a pretty good. That's a pretty good ratio. Oh, Groot. Hello there, Groot. Molly says, yeah, a lot of indie decks are becoming investment pieces now. Like they need to go into your own owner's insurance. Yeah, exactly. Hello, Lisa. Is it Lisa or Lissa? Karen, it's so lovely to see your name scrolling through here. And something is white and wispy. Would not surprise me. I think somebody said they saw little fairies. I do feed my fairies, so it wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. They will not cover decks. Claire, how can they not cover decks? Like if you have a homeowner's insurance and you have a fire and you have documents showing you, Lissa, like Melissa. Thank you, Lissa, for just letting me know. They definitely get spoiled. Lots of honey, lots of bread. Not as much milk because I don't like that getting spoiled. Yeah, I mean, it kind of surprises. Well, and Claire, I don't think you're in the U.S., right? So it may be different in different countries because I don't know why. If I have a deck collection and I have, documenting what I have, and I have a fire. If I have a fire or something that happens, I don't know why they wouldn't cover that item. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. I could roll with it. Molly says I can't. Yeah, I'm not sure why either. Oh, that's what Progressive told you. Yeah, I don't know. I would definitely say to everybody, if they have enough decks that they want to cover, that they should probably check that. I love that song too. Molly said the song is actually about a road in Maryland, but West Virginia rhymed better. Well, you got to roll with the creative. Got to have that rhythm and that flow and that rhyming. I love John Denver. Truthfully, one of my, I'm pretty sure he's not here to talk about tarot, Anaconda. My most used playlist. So I use Amazon Music because I have Alexander's. I don't want to say her real name because she will start talking to us. But so I use Amazon Music instead of, like, my daughter uses Apple Music for listening to music, but I use Amazon Music. And my most often requested is I asked to play the Mellow Folk playlist, which is not my playlist. It's like a channel that Amazon Music has. So if you listen to Mellow Folk, that's on a ton of times in my apartment if you have Amazon Music. And the other one is just to cycle through John Denver music. I love John Denver music. It's very relaxing and I just love it. Of course, then there could also be many other things, like lots of Disney soundtracks and stuff like that. Like definitely Moana, definitely the new Frozen 2. I'm not sure how we got there. Oh, because somebody came on and had me singing John Denver. That's why. There was a reason. Annie's song, Rocky Mountain High. I just love John Denver. I have a couple of his records too. Okay, I suppose I should stop shuffling this. So again, this is a deck that I don't know what I feel about it yet. I have it out so that we can keep trying. He's back. Don't spam the chat or he's gonna get oh, if he has more than one account, it means we're in trouble at this point. We're gonna be getting a lot of John Denver. Okay, let me pull this. Have you got, okay, wait a minute. Can we pause? I've got the cards. Okay, here is Swan. Here is Sea Turtle. Here is Peregrine Falcon. Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay, I pulled the cards, but we're allowed to have a squirrel brain today. I just want to link this to you guys because, oh my gosh, please go and watch this after you have the time. Let me find it. Give me patience. I know Nikki would know what to, it's going to be really hard to find it because I'm blanking on her name and I follow her. Nikki, what's the lady that Yona. She's Swedish and I love her channel. Here it is. I found it. Oh, I can't play this because I don't want the thing to get muted because you have to watch it too. This is like the land of my ancestors. Thank you. People know what I talk about. Go and watch that. Oh, it's so beautiful. By Whispering Well. Because it's like taking the sound, because the Frozen movies are obviously based on sort of Norway and those types of energies, and so they play, and they're really like there's a name for them, and they're really music used to call cattle home. And she does these in some of her other videos, just regular, just cattle calling, which is just amazing, ringing off the hills and stuff like that. But she just takes the little bit that's in Frozen and kind of does, thank you, Alexa. I don't know how you pronounce that, if it's just called calming or I'm not sure. But go listen to that. I watch everything she makes. I think she's the most amazing thing. If there was like a real Disney princess in the world, like a Swedish Disney princess, I think she's like a live Swedish Disney princess. So I adore that channel. And anyways, but go listen to it and watch it because that is so beautiful. Her videography, because she films like video and she does the music, and then she also does other cool things like literally just videos listening to the sound that ice makes in the winter time. It's just amazing. I just love that channel. Anyways, but listen to that one in particular because I am obsessed with it. And I don't know what got that in my head. I think I was talking about Frozen too. Okay, sidetrack. Okay, I was going to check it out. Okay, I did pull the cards. I just squirreled it, and that's okay. We're allowed to. I went and saved it for later. It does. Definitely watch it too. It's beautiful to listen to, but this one is so beautiful to watch too, because the landscapes up there, because she's in, I may be getting this wrong, but she is in northern Sweden, and way out, like in rural, way into the woods, Sweden. And then she also has, I think, a cabin further up where she goes and does a lot of filming. And so the landscape is just absolutely stunning. Yes, Miss Nikki. I knew you would know who it was. I was like totally having that brain just No, I haven't. She's okay. Let me grab this Miss Molly because I will never be able to type that name. See, thank you guys. I really appreciate everybody just being willing to, let's just. Ooh, I actually think I have heard hers. I'm going to click it though and then just save it because that way I can. I'm pretty sure I have, but I will click it there. Which deck would I pair with? Is it Yona? I think it's Yona. I'm probably saying it wrong. I know the J. It's not Jonah. It's not Jonah in the Whale. And I just heard her say it. I'm literally having crazy brain here because I just listened to her last video. I think she was just kind of chit-chatting because I think she got a gold YouTube thing for like 1 million followers or whatever. And so I think, so I know her name, but I'm just totally blanking of how you would say it. I have heard that. Well, I don't know if I've heard that one, Sherry Bug. But I have heard that polyphonic singing. Night Simon. And also Mongolian. My niece, my sister-in-law. So my brother lives in Mongolia. He has for like, I don't know, it's got to be like 12 years now. And his wife is Mongolian and she does traditional Mongolian throat singing. And it's absolutely amazing. Okay, so going back to the question, Groot, which would I pair with Yona's music? The first thing that came to mind, and I don't know, let me look and see if I feel that same way. The first thing that came to mind was the Moonchild Tarot, but she does like a lot of like moon, like, I mean, she does stuff in the daytime too, but she does beautiful night video work and stuff like that. This isn't very wintry though. I do really, and of course she doesn't just do in the winter, but I do associate her a lot with the winter, right? So I don't know. So the first thing that came to mind was the Moonchild Tarot. Because if you're just watching, Groot asked me what tarot deck would I associate with music that I just linked you to. And so my instant reaction was Moonchild. Fountain Tarot is beautiful in coloration. I could see it, but it feels too modern. Like she feels like she's like a Swedish elf, from days gone by. So that's the one that's staying in my head. I can't think of any other one right now. I'm sticking with Moonchild Tarot for her. Even though it's warmer, I would think like a little bit more wintry with her just because I think about winter. But the one that I am, that's possible, Hanaconda. That's over there. Can I just say, if you have the Lost Tarot, if you have the Lost Forest Tarot, the Cosmic Reading Cards reads beautifully with that deck. Tarot of the Hidden Realm, I could definitely see with a baby. Maybe that's her in the summertime. Yeah, that's a definitely. Those are what came to mind, and I do agree with Hanaconda that potentially the Cosmic Reading Cards would work. Okay, let me just quickly, so I can put these away, because apparently we're not doing anything too sticking with my brain cells. So the first one was actually the Swan, which is beauty, is associated with beauty. And then we have the Sea Turtle, which is about stability. And then we have the Peregrine Falcon, which is observation. This one is interesting. These two really resonate with me. The swan one, I don't think, I'm not going to go with just straight beauty there. The swan one for me is this idea of grace. Because I spent a lot of time with the swan energy last year, I really think about swan energy as, I mean, swans are beautiful, but let's be honest, every bird is beautiful. I mean, there are a couple birds that are strange looking, but as a general rule, birds are beautiful. But I think of the swan as to do with grace. It's about having grace for self. And I don't mean just by gracefulness, like a swan is beautiful and graceful. I am not graceful at all. Um, so it's about having grace for self and having grace for others. It's that sense of beautiful openness, of being what you are when you are that. You know, it's that ugly duckling. When you're the ugly duckling, just be the ugly duckling, and you're going to shift and change, and you're going to be the beautiful swan. Like, just have grace for yourself, have grace for your situation, because in that grace, in that kind of, let's not be so hard on each other. Let's not be hard on ourselves. Let's not be so hard on each other. And this is where we can have that connective stability, because look at that swan with that. Is that a little child sleeping on it? You have little energy sleeping on the top of it, right? So it is that sense of that the journey, the movement, but moving in this beautiful, stable way that this image is showing here. So it is that sense for me. It's about having grace for self and others is the way to move forward in a stable way, which I think is really important. And then with the peregrine falcon, they have observation. I definitely see all of the birds of prey as that idea of focus, a clarity, really being able, but you have the space to observe. You have the space to see clearly when you're giving yourself grace, because when we don't give ourselves grace, we shut ourselves into these boxes, right? We really limit our world when we lock ourselves in, when we're really hard on ourselves. That the lack of grace for ourselves and the lack of grace for others really puts us in a box, when we don't have grace for ourselves, we put ourselves in the box. When we don't have grace for others, we also put ourselves in the box, right? We are really locking ourselves away. And I think that having just simple grace and compassion for ourselves and others is what moves us forward, and what also allows us to see more clearly. So I really like those cards together. Again, this is one of those decks. I have no clue what I feel about it yet. And that's why it's sitting over there, so that we can try it a few times and see what kind of messages that we get. I've never had a swan attack me. There's a bunch of swans outside of one of the hospitals my son used to go to sometimes. Geese I have been attacked by. My aunt had geese, and they were very aggressive. So yeah, and most likely for a reason. If they're territorial and we're putting our, that's again that lack of perspective. Like if we go into, oh, these beautiful geese, and go over there where we're mindlessly going in to their territory, well, that is us, because we are not being mindful of what we're doing and understanding how they work. And so then we're like, oh my gosh, these are really mean geese. Well, maybe to the geese, it's just like somebody walked into your apartment. Like, what would I do if some stranger just walked into my apartment? I would not be reacting very well. You could, be hurt if you walked into my apartment, unannounced. So, we have to remember that. But I will say I have a healthy regard for geese, because when we were kids, they definitely were aggressive. So, yeah, they got a little bit of a bad rap. Yes, definitely on you. Swans are protective of their grace. Cross the boundary, they will mess you up. It's like, I can be grace, I can have grace for you, but do not. And that's actually true. I mean, if we think about it, like, it's important to have grace for others. It's important to have compassion for others, but it's also important to have boundaries, right? And so having grace for people does not mean that you're allowing them to just kind of trample all over your boundaries. And that's an important lesson. So I really like that. Is it Hanaconda who just said that? Somebody just said something. Yeah, Hanaconda. That having, you can have, so that really makes me think about that even deeper, is this idea of, it's important to have grace and compassion, be open and gracious to people, but you can definitely still have boundaries and be a nice, compassionate person. I think sometimes we think that they can't be that way. Like, oh, if you're a nice, open person, and if you're somebody who is having grace and compassion for others, that means that you're just open to people overstepping their bounds. And that doesn't necessarily mean, is not the truth. In fact, I think you can have much more grace and compassion when you have healthy boundaries. So that makes the swan work even better. Molly says, I can't think of geese without thinking of my grandpa who had geese in his pond, and he was very protective of them. Don't get between a man and his geese. Oh dear. So the geese probably didn't have a chance to be protective, it sounds like, because Molly's grandpa was doing it for him. My goodness. Claire used to raise them. You have to earn their trust. I mean, I guess that's with anything. Like, if you don't know them, right? If they don't know you, why are they gonna let you get all up in their space? Yeah, thank you, Miss Molly. I totally agree. Compassion does not equal weakness. And it's unfortunate that I think that idea is kind of permeated things a little bit, that somehow if you are strong-willed and you have strong, solid boundaries, all of a sudden that means you don't have compassion, or you don't seem to portray, people don't see you as compassionate simply because you have good, solid boundaries. Or the other way around, if you are really sweet and compassionate, and maybe, come across that way, but then people just assume that you're weak. And so, that's too bad. Yes, I love the cows one. That is a great one. Sherry, we sucked Sherry into Yona's videos. Somebody needs to Google it, or Miss Nikki probably knows. Am I saying Yona? Is it Yona? I feel like it's Yona, but I have a complete blank. I love what the first comment says. I'm going to tell my kids this is the real Elsa. She definitely could be the real Elsa. There's no question. Some things just make me so happy. J's are pronounced as Y's for us. Okay, so Yona. I know. That's what I know, Nikki. Nikki's like, she says her name. I've watched all her videos. I'm literally having a brain freeze. And I just watched it yesterday. Then you would fall in love with the cowherds. And do they sing their cows too? Do they sing them home? Hello, Corvus. Yeah, she's definitely one that as soon as hers comes up, I just like, okay, yes, stop what I'm doing and watch. You know how you have those that if they come up, you're going to stop all things and just see what she is up to and hope that you have the time to do so. Hi, Terry. We are at the tail end. There goes yawning. It's been a long day. It has been a very long day. You're at the tail end of a very all over the place chat. So I should probably put a note in the description that if you're coming here for a topic today, there won't be a topic here, because we just kind of rolled with it today. Everybody's been very gracious. That everybody has had grace for me today, and we've just kind of played. Just look a little bit this, look a little bit of that. I know it's so bad to do, isn't it, Dylan? Don't yawn on video. Gonna send off like a spiral of yawning to everybody. It's really not good. The thing is, Sherry, and Nikki, can you imagine, like, if we went off into the woods, like, if you watch her, like, cattle calling, or this last one that I put a link to, if you watch that video, you feel like when you're done, like, okay, this is a call of my ancestors. Like, I could go off. It's like really beautiful and foggy out right now. Can you imagine if I went into if I went out into the fog of around my apartment and tried to make those sounds and sing to the cattle? I'm pretty sure, even though in my head I feel like I can feel the call to my Swedish ancestors, I'm going to go into the woods and sing the song. It's not going to sound the same. In my head, I think I can do that. I would definitely be able to walk into the woods and sing this beautiful song. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to sound the same. Yeah, she can keep the ice bath. I know Nikki's like the cops. Somebody would call the cops. If I went outside and started doing that, somebody would definitely call the cops on me. Not only would it not sound beautiful and haunting, it would just be like, no, that's all I know. Go call your dog, Sherry. See, if you lived out in the country, you could get away with it. I just feel like it still wouldn't be as beautiful. But definitely not out in front of my apartment. Not gonna have the giggles all night. Oh, the atmosphere. Exactly, Molly. I mean, let's remember, she is stringing all this together with beautiful vibrations, and she does a beautiful job at mixing songs and video. Let's be realistic. If we just walk outside, it's probably not going to say, it's not going to be the same. But it definitely makes me want to do it just because of that. I know. It'll be my call for Isabel. I can call it that. I can name it the call to Isabel. And I can't even do it. No. I know. Hanaconda says she sings to her snakes. I can see where they would see the vibration, or they would feel the vibration. I mean, they're so vibrational. The Hills of the Live I could definitely do. Are you asking about picking one between the movie and The Sound of Music, like Frozen or The Sound of Music? I loved Frozen. I can't even talk. I actually really do love the new Frozen movie. And I'm not going to give it away because some people haven't seen it, but I definitely love some of the themes that were there. I definitely cried way more in it than the first one, for sure. Some of the themes were really powerful. And I also loved Elsa in this one. She felt such like kick butt in it. She was very powerful. Dylan says, fun fact, sharks respond better to death. What is Isabel doing? I don't know what she's up to, but she's up to something. Sharks apparently respond better to death metal. Ain't that metal or what? Well, I suppose it probably sounds pretty aggressive, right? So that I would say makes sense, but maybe they also would like some mellow folk music. I do love winter. I haven't quite had enough yet. Ask me the end of February. I'll probably have had enough. But also, let's be fair. I work from home. So, and when it's nasty and cold, it's not snow out right now, but it's just rainy and cold. I don't have to go anywhere. So I would dislike it a lot more if I had to like get up every morning and go to work in it. Um, we have, I'm not sure how we got to sharks and death metal. Well, we were talking about singing to snakes. That makes sense. Dylan didn't just jump there from nowhere. I would think animals in general respond to vibration. I mean, it makes sense. Hello, Anna Astro Lady. We have no topic. I am so sorry for people who are looking forward to a topic. I will put it out. I will try to remember to put a note in the topic that there is no topic. A note in the description. That way people aren't like, oh, I'm going to get on here and listen to the topic. There's not a topic. There's lots of topics. Yep, Crazy Brain Day. We are celebrating Crazy Brain. We are celebrating Crazy Brain Day. And per our reading, we're having grace for that. I do like random talks too, although I really do enjoy it. I like both. That's why I've really enjoyed having a topic at the beginning and then a random at the end, because I enjoy both of them. So I do miss having the topics because I really enjoy the topics, but we'll get back to it. Molly says, I make noises to my squirrels to calm them when they start danger barking. Learn how animals speak and you can really communicate. Yeah. We have very bossy squirrels around here. For sure. I read that plants do not thrive to rock music, probably wouldn't do well with heavy metal. I'm wondering if that's because, vibrationally, I would think, I grew up in a very fundamental Christian religion where we went to like music seminars that would take like heavy metal and things like that. And, that whole like play them backwards because Satan's really speaking to you in the music. But it wasn't just that they would talk about. They would also talk about the way that disruptive music that would have sort of jarrings and like discordant, where you're kind of getting along in a melody and it gets like shifted up and things like that has an effect on you physically. And so it wouldn't surprise me if certain plants or something like that, where they need that really the vibrations stay not discordant, but stay smooth. Who knows? I'm not going to say it's not the truth because I don't know the science behind it. But I've definitely heard that classical music is the best for plants. But do I know if that's true? No, there's Miss Bell. I saw her wandering back. Bye, Elron. I'm glad you got home safely. I'm going to be hanging up soon, too. I'm definitely to that phase of like, okay, I need to be done talking. I've talked too much today. But Anna says if she was a plant, she would still love rock and roll. And I don't know, like, if there is a difference, like when you really break down something like heavy metal to compare to like rock and roll, like, are you really looking at like, does heavy metal have purposefully discordant, tones and vibrations and things like that? Who knows? I'm sure somebody knows, probably Elrond who's leaving. I've read that cats respond favorably to harp music. Isabel doesn't seem to respond much to music. She gives me the look when I'm singing, like if I'm doing, my typical twirling through the apartment singing musicals. She does often give me a look like she's not impressed. So I'm not sure that she's a musical dog. And I don't think it's to do with the musical music as much as it's to do with me doing it. But she might like some other form of music better. I don't think my cat really notices the TV or music. Yeah, Isabel definitely does not notice the television at all. I've never, other than loudness, like if I'm watching like a movie that's loud and jumpy, like there's, I do like action movies and I do like scary movies sometimes. So definitely if she'll jump to like if there's a scary thing and all of a sudden like something loud happens. But other than that, she doesn't pay attention to music or shouldn't pay attention to television. Hello, Tomaya. I'm so sorry. I know you. I haven't seen you in a while either. We've had a lot of people popping in, which has been really nice. In Sinaloa, there is a tequila distillery plays classical music during the entire tequila making process. That is awesome. Because I believe it. I bet crystals like music too. I feel think pop music close to the devil, which makes us into a bunch of stuff and have an authentic opinion. My dog pays attention more than the cat because he's always on alert for not. Now, yeah, the doorbells and the knocking in movies definitely get her sometime. What are you doing back there? I feel like she's just like all up to something. All right, folks. I am going to wrap this up because I feel like laying my head on the desk, so that means it's probably time to go. I feel like I have expended all of my energy outward and need to pause and get a cup of tea and stop talking for a little bit. Yeah, and cuddle with my fat, chunky dog because she's so cute. So, yeah, I'm going to head out. And thank you all for spending a lovely Saturday afternoon with me. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend and that you're able to do something that is enjoyable, something to recharge yourself. I can definitely see using some recharging. And I'm not jumping into a frozen lake, Brienne. Although in theory, I can imagine that jumping in a frozen lake is awesome and invigorating, but I think I would just die, to be honest. I feel like if you watch, go to Yona's channel, and she does like to take ice baths. Although I'm sure we're not seeing all the clips of her like screaming. But I really think I would just like all of my vital organs would just shut down if I jumped into frozen lake. So it's not on my list. It's not on my list. Anyways, have a absolutely wonderful. If you like to jump into frozen lakes, go for it. If you're one of those polar bear, they call that polar bear dipping or something like that. If that's your jam, go for it. Send me a video clip. I will be high-fiving you from afar, wrapped in a blanket, because I'm not going to join you. All right, goodbye, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful